Hey kids, how you doing? Really lovely to see you all. I may sound a little breathy, but I'm not really. It's just that I'm propped up in bed and woke up from a nap and wanted to say hi. Today was my first post-transplant clinic. And your post-transplant clinic is a thing that you do as a lung transplant recipient for the rest of your life. The only thing that varies is the length of time between the clinics. And what it involves is you get up pretty early and you go in as soon as things are open at the clinic, and that includes pulmonary function tests, which I am already ready for. They sometimes take it pretty easy on you until you're really ready to do those tests they're in a little airtight box made out of plexiglass, and you have different meters and things to blow into and patterns of inhaling and exhaling, and they measure a different thing each time. And so you spend, I'm going to say the PFTs take about an hour and 15 minutes. And you want to get those out of the way first, usually. So you go to the pulmonary function test clinic and they take care of that for you. And then after that, you go to either x-ray or lab, unless you have a CT instead of an x-ray. And then you'd go and have your CT. And if I remember correctly, the CTs happen on the same day as bronchoscopies, which is where they go into your new lung and take a little biopsy and wash it out with a little bit of sterile saline, I'm going to assume, and collect the fluid. And they test that. They culture a whole, probably a 15 or 20 test panel of whether you're growing any fungus or have any virus in there or have any bacteria in there. And it's an extensive panel. It covers like 15, 20 different organisms that they want to make sure that you're not developing in your lungs. And the little biopsy can show whether you're having any level of rejection at all. So, because we know the two things that can really be of great risk to lung transplant recipients is infection and rejection. And I have to worry about those, not like fret over them or like, freak out, but I have to think about those all the time for the rest of my life and do every single thing I can possibly do to prevent them. And when they do happen, because they will, to cooperate with my team in getting it all back under control. So that's what that's all about. And then you have either your x-ray or CT and some lab tests. And then as soon as you're done with all of that, you can go right up, and it's a first come, first served. They put you right in line for a rotation through with your transplant pulmonologist, as opposed to your transplant surgeon, because you may never see your transplant surgeon again. It depends. If they have to go in and do anything, then you will, anything surgical. But otherwise, if you can avoid the transplant surgeon the rest of your life, you're better off doing so. And nothing against the transplant surgeon. They're absolute miracle workers. But if you don't ever have to see them again, then, that means it worked. And it's still working. And during the first year is the highest risk for rejection, because you're getting used to the new restrictions and you're getting out and about a little bit more. And so what they want to do is they want to just make sure that during that first year you get checked at 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And they do that whole rigmarole with the not every time with the CT scan, but either CT or x-ray. and I got put in what used to be called, and still essentially is, a Holter monitor. Holter monitor? I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's a couple of little measuring devices inside an oval patch that sits right over your heart. And it will monitor your heart for 2 weeks. I have that on me for 2 weeks. And anytime that I feel like I have AFib or a little dizziness, or, you know, I notice something going on that might be heart related, and they gave me a thorough education as to what that might be. I push a little button on it, and I keep a log of the date, the time, and why I felt that I should push the button. Was I feeling dizzy? Did I feel my heart skipping beats? Was there any chest pain? You know, different things like that. And so far, I haven't really felt much of that. Any of the dizziness has been pretty much a side effect of medication, and it hasn't been too bad. The tremor has been almost every day for at least part of the day. And so I suppose that might be something that I should be marking if I notice I have a real tremor. So I will probably do that. Today, not so bad. Not so bad at all. I have zero pain. I'm oxygenating to 97, 98% at just plain old room air. Just took a nap and breathed well throughout the whole thing. Didn't feel any tightness in my chest or anything. And so that's the scoop with that. Everything was just, every measure was right out of the park. They took out half of my zipper today. Every other staple, and it feels a whole lot better, a lot less tight and stiff back there. And they really liked the way that the incision looked. And they took out the last two sutures, the black stitches that were on the second chest tube removal site. So those are out now, and it feels a lot less tight under there. And the zipper is half off. And if everything goes well between now and Monday, which is the next clinic day, they'll take the other half of the stitches, staples, out when I go to the next clinic. So I don't know how anything could be going any better. The Lord continues to knock it right out of the park on this one. He's got me right on track. I just seem to be healing amazingly well, feeling amazingly well, walking amazingly well. We had to be at the hospital this morning at 8 o'clock, and I was there from 8 until 12:30 and walked the whole time. Didn't need to stop and rest much. Met one of my support group people in the waiting room she's been shepherding her dad through this, and today they were supposed to hear if he was going to get listed for transplant. So that was really fun to meet her, a gal named Liz. So yeah, it's just really something, really, really something. And Circuit Rider and Kathy and I are having a great load of fun. We kind of realized today, with a little bit of shock and horror, that she has to leave next Monday, and today's clinic is the only one that she'll get to go to. But I know she's anxious to get home. And my dad's dog, Gus, is obviously now her dog, and she misses him terribly. He's a wonderful dog. So it's going to be fun for her to go home and see Gussie and be at home, and she's going to be having her roof replaced, more expediently than she thought when she came here. And so she'll go back up to Maine to spend the summer with family, and it'll be wonderful for her. And next year, I go visit Maine. And my goal is to hike Mount Katahdin, the northern terminus of the Appalachian Trail, with a bunch of AT friends and a bunch of Maine friends and any family who want to join us. And I'll go up there and show off to my dad, who is, his ashes were scattered up there. And I'll get to go up, and it's exactly 1 mile high. Takes about 8.5 miles maybe to hike it. I'm not remembering really well, but yeah, it might be around 8 miles, and it's a climb. It's a serious climb. But if there's any way I can do it and it doesn't threaten my lung, I'm doing it. So that's going to be in September of 2022. And we're going to nail that baby. Going to get up there on top of it and rejoice and sing praises and say hi to my dad, Poopa Jack. I am daughter of Poopa Jack, and everybody knows it. Poopa Jack is my dad's Appalachian Trail name, just like Circuit Rider is my friend Bill's Appalachian Trail name, and Poopa is my mom's stepmom, friend, wonderful, just fabulous supporter. She's been a nurse for 50 some years, and she's here helping me out, as you guys know. Anyway, so that's the scoop right now. I would talk longer, but I tend to be so long-winded in these things. But I would just let you know that the clinic day went great. There was nothing that could have been better, and I felt all of you praying for us, and our faith and our love for the Lord is being honored, and He is behind this. He's behind everything, 100%. But He's apparently really enjoying showing His glory and His mercy and His compassion and His grace through this, because it's, well, I'll stop babbling. I love you guys. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.